Well, gardening friends, it is April 19th. Spring is on the way. I can't believe how fast spring is going this year. Even some of these daffodils here are done blooming. Look at these here, all done blooming. Hello there, kitty. One of Julie's kitties. These are grape hyacinths. And these roses are coming along nicely. Look at them, filling out. Later on this spring, this area here, when the poppies are done and the mystery lilies are done, and this will start to be more of a bare space with places to plant other things. Last year I planted this hardy geranium to have something else growing here, because there's a bare spot in here by July and all this stuff dies back for the year. Oh look, here's a poppy. The poppy right there getting ready to bloom. A few more tulips down there. And look at all these tulips across here. I don't know what that is, but I think it's something I must have planted last year. I planted some wildflowers here last year, and some here's a hardy geranium I planted here last year. I planted a few of those last year. And here's a lily coming on, just coming up. And here's a hardy geranium that's been here for several years. And look, there's more lilies. Look how they've multiplied. You know, start out by one, then there's a whole bunch of them. This is the weed that sticks to you. This is a little ground cover I put in here. Oh, these are Grecian windflowers. They're closed up. Look at how tall these peonies are getting. Good morning. Julie's taking our dog for a walk. That was actually her mother's dog till her mother passed away. But now it's ours. This here is yarrow. It has like a red flower on top. Oh. For all that rain we had, you'd think there'd be more water in the bird bath. Need to put some more in there, I guess. Here's some more of this weed here. Yeah, you don't want this stuff growing in your garden. It's all over the place. This is coral bells that's just coming along. And here's some columbine just coming up. I'm not sure what this is. I have some bushes here. And I usually cut them back to the ground every year so they don't take over. This is a peony right here. Last year I got a bunch of wildflowers I grew out here. I'm going to move out here. This here is a variegated dogwood, and you can see how I keep cutting it back to the ground every year. And there's some columbines going in there with the tulips. And there's a peony. Some of these peonies I like, and some of them I don't. The ones that I like have the red centers. Here's one of these tulips. They open and close every day. Somewhere I got some bee balm. I think this is it. I planted some bee balm out here. I think that's it right there. And this is a bush. I'm trying to remember what kind of bush it is. Yeah. Oh, I know what this is. Solomon seal. I have some Solomon's seal out here. There's more of it coming up right there. Oh, there's more. Don't you just love to see plants just coming up out of the ground like this in the spring? This is more columbine I put out here. This is a tuber that dies away later on in the year. Winter aconite. It's got a yellow flower on top. And this is loosestrife right here. It's knee high. It has yellow flowers up and down the stems. Look at this. This is a late tulip here, and it's like carnation type flowers like that. They'll open up. I need to pull this out. That's a dandelion in there. I didn't get it. You can't get it with your hands. You need to get something to take up the entire taproot. I'd love to have hollyhocks out here in this part of the garden. This is a bush cherry. I'm probably not going to get any cherries because I don't let it get tall enough. And things that fruit sometimes or bloom. See, bush cherries bloom early in the spring. So if you cut them down to the ground in the fall, they're not going to bloom. So it didn't bloom. I see when your tulips get like this one right here, what you want to do is you want to cut it off right there because it's going to make seeds right in there. And this will swell, but the seeds won't really grow. I think they might take like several years before you would actually get any tulips. So it's better to let them multiply. If you cut this off, all the strength from the sun and growing every day goes into the bulb, and so it's better to multiply that way than letting them make seeds. I never let them make seeds. This here's another lily coming up, and this is a lily that just divided off of this bulb here. It won't bloom this summer, but it will get bigger and bigger every year, and eventually it will bloom. That might be one of those really good smelling lilies, and how come I can't think of the name of it right now? I'll have to look it up. Can't think of it. This is a sedum, and it's the taller kind. It's got red flowers on the tops, and I'm not really too enamored with it because the flowers are so plain, and I've had it for so many years. Here's a ostrich fern I put out here. They just kind of roll up out of the ground. You can see how the tips are rolled. They just roll right up out of the ground. Now, these are probably, I mean, they are for sure daylilies. I've got awful lot of daylilies in here. I have to keep thinning them out every now and then so I don't get too many, because you don't want them taking over everything. This is Bird in the Bush, and it's almost done. There's a lily underneath it right there. Julie and I planted this crabapple tree a few years back. It was about head high when we planted it here, and you can see now it's got all these blooms over it. Look at all these blooms. This is the first year that it's bloomed in the years that we've had it, and you can see how tall it is now. It should look really nice in this flower bed with all the bulbs and the blooms. And this is a honeysuckle bush. We're going to finish taking it down this year because it was just shading out everything over here. This kitty here just showed up, and he's been hanging around. We don't know where he came from. He's got a collar on, and he loves to be petted. He's not afraid of people like some of the kitties that show up just for the food. Oh, look over here. This is a bleeding heart. It's just starting to bloom. I planted this here a few years back, well, a few actually, and it's a nice big plant. It's just starting to bloom. There's an ostrich fern in there. You can see how they just roll up. Just come unrolled. This is snow on the mountain, or bishop's weed. It's a terrible thing to have in your flower bed, but I put the kind of plants out here that can tolerate that sort of competition. But I sure don't want it in this flower bed over here. And these hostas are coming up. Look at this. I've got a lot of hostas around the street. Not quite all the way around, but a lot of them. Wouldn't it be cool if I had more tulips here all the way back to the lot? Maybe that's something I'll just keep working on a little bit more every year. These are windflowers. I don't remember planting them over here. In fact, one year I even dug them up and put them over in the flower bed. Yet they're still here, and they just keep growing. And here's more hostas coming up over here. Here's some honeysuckle growing on here. just coming to life. These tulips I dug up and planted over here. I dug them up when they're growing, so they're not really big enough to bloom. But they didn't bloom this year. But after they get some more strength from growing here for a year, and same with these daffodils over here. And here's one iris I put over here. It's 3. And I don't know if it's going to bloom this year or not. That one there might be too small to bloom. But this one here might bloom this year. Okay, well that's the stuff in my garden here out front this year. What, April 19th? So we'll talk to you later on, and hope you can subscribe to my channel. I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much, and goodbye.